Last weekend we had our first gathering of the Arizona Cycle Kart Club, and it was during that time of driving around the building out there in Mesa that I come to the conclusion I better do some maintenance on this front axle. If you recall, I'd broken a spring up at Tieton and put on I actually had one of the Cartco springs with me, and it fit, but it messed up the geometry and it's out of alignment, and so I gotta take it all apart. I'm gonna take the front end off. I'm taking the whole axle off, try to figure out what's going on with it. And then I have a flat tire. That tire's flat, so I gotta patch that. And then I think I'm gonna take off the rear cover, this upper part, clean the engine, clean the carburetor, because I had this thing out in the orchard up there, pretty dusty environment, so it's due for a good servicing. All right, onward. This is the tire that has a leak in it, so I'll check that in a minute. And here's the freewheeling side. Okay, I took the rims off, got the screen off. I decided I'm going to take the whole rear cover off because, you know, under closer inspection, it's good and dirty under there and it needs a good service. So off comes the rear cover. I was curious how many screws held on this rear cover, and it's 52 screws. Man, well, you know how it is, screws are my thing. Alright. I like this setup. You know, this whole cover comes off and I can get to the whole mechanical package without any trouble. Alright. Let's take a look. Alright, so this is after quite a few hours of use. You know, it's dirty under here. This belt is slipping a little, and I know that. It's 2 seasons old. So I'm ordering some new belts. Disc looks pretty good. A little bit of dirt on the engine. Quite a bit of dirt down in here and around the carb. And it's just filthy in there. I had another carb apart not too long ago and it was dirty like this. And there was dirt down in the bowl. And the engine wasn't running that great. But after I cleaned it up and put in a fresh spark plug, ran perfect. This is part of the kill switch here, that wire, which runs up to the kill button. I took off the header and muffler, give me a little more access, and I loosened up the throttle plate. I didn't take the governor off of this engine, so that's all still in here. But I got that up out of the way, and that allowed me to remove the rod and the spring for the throttle arm. Came off pretty good. And it is definitely dirty. Yeah. Alright, I'm looking forward to getting this cleaned up. I've been removing the front grille because I want to get to the bolt connection at the spring, where the spring bolts to the chassis. See if everything's all right under there. So take off this piece. And then there's some screws in here I've already been working on loosening. So I can finish getting those off. Okay, I want to loosen this bolt here. It's the one that holds the spring. So the original spring I had on here had 3 holes in it. And that was that buggy spring, the seat spring to a horse-drawn carriage. Well, it broke right here at one of the outer bolt holes. So when Joey and I put this spring on up and tightened, we just took one of these Carco springs and put the center hole in there. It's already there. Bolted it in and went about our weekend. But with only one bolt, this wants to shift forward and back. And that kind of changes the geometry of the front axle a little bit. So I'm going to put a wedge, a rubber block in here, so that this block will not move. If I lift up on this axle, this whole thing shifts backwards. So I want to stop that from happening. So it should be a fairly easy fix. Plus I have to take it off and put some paint on it just so it doesn't look so raw. Okay, moving on. Okay, I made this little rubber block spacer, same height, and it ate up all that thickness right there. So now that block, this rubber block here, cannot move backwards. Another reason to add the spacer was as the axle moved backwards, or the spring moved backwards, you can see it would damage the body here. So now that rubber block keeps this spring in this location. I don't want it to move back and forth in here. See, that's working much better. This was all kind of moving around. Now it's nice and stout. Okay, definite improvement. Okay. So now the spring is removed. You can see the shackles here. And I have the rubber block up here. I'm going to use contact cement, glue that together. That'll work just fine. And then I can clean this up and paint it. I was thinking, I hadn't mentioned what modifications I had done to this engine on the BMW. So I thought I'd take a minute and bring you up to speed. It's not a stock engine. I put the Stage 1 or Stage 2 hop-up kit from NR Racing. And what that encompasses is it's a Honda carburetor, but it's bored out to 5/8, so it's a genuine Honda carb, bored out. And then it comes with this Venturi attachment and the K&N filter. Let's see, it also comes with a timing key that goes on the flywheel, 8-degree advanced timing key. And that's a big bonus, actually. Advancing that timing makes a big difference in performance. I did not remove the governor. That way I retain the stock throttle plate configuration, which has the place for the throttle cable. So if you remove the throttle plate, then you have to devise your own throttle hookup. There's things you can buy for that, but it's kind of a pain. And then this is a header, and then the 1-inch muffler, so it breathes better on the exhaust side. And so those modifications there bump it up to about 11 horsepower from 6.5. So it's a definite improvement. And but the gearing we run on these, in my opinion, you don't have to remove the governor. I did on the monocar engine, you know, but I don't think it ever gets up much past 3,000 RPM. So anyway, that's pretty much what I do. This here, you know, catches residual oil from the rocker cover, because normally this tube here runs into the stock air filter, kind of a crankcase ventilation thing. So if you don't put this, oil comes out the hole, gets all over everything. I bought this at Pep Boys auto parts store. Okay, I think that's everything I've done to this engine. So the BMW is all back together. Took it for a test drive. It's running good, steering nice. Got the spring in there and everything squared up nicely. So added the Titan decal for this year. Another one there. Okay, so time for a little work on the monocar. I have to take the front axle off so I can repair the spring. Put on a new spring actually. And I have to take off the rear cover, clean the engine, give it a servicing. Filter's filthy. It was running okay when I parked it, so I think it's just an external cleaning and servicing. I gave it a little bit of a bath, but I'll do a little more spit and polish work on it here too. Okay, let's get to it. I removed the springs from the axle and washed all the grease and grime off of it, so it's pretty much ready to go back on. Got all the parts and pieces out here. Here's the broken spring. Broke right at the bolt hole. Then over here I got them hung up and I'm painting them. This one's primed and I've started to lay on the paint. So here are the original springs. You can see where the one broke here. These are from Ingles Coach Shop. They're springs to a horse-drawn carriage to the seat, a buggy seat. You'll notice this original spring isn't as wide as the new spring. So it turns out that it works fine here on the rear shackle, this width. It'll fit in there okay, but at the front, right here was the original spot where it installed, and that's just not gonna fly. It's just too narrow. So I had to extend it with a couple of steel pieces so that the spring would fit inside. So I have those welded on, and I'm gonna just shoot them with some black paint. And then I can reinstall the spring and reinstall the axle. A little bit of black paint and we're good to go. Okay, I'm in the process of installing this front axle here. Got the springs on. So this will stand up like this. I'll use the tape measure to center it up on the spring and side to side. Okay, yeah, I think this will work. Okay, all three cars are ready to go, all spit and polished, so we can take them out and show them this weekend at the Scottsdale Grand Prix. Got all my chores done, everything fixed and working well. Test drove all three cars. And the stable is looking pretty good. Getting ready to load the three cars on the flatbed because tomorrow we're going to be displaying out at the Scottsdale Grand Prix.
What? He's got to get out of his way when he's in a hurry, isn't he? Yeah. Hell no, I'm making it nice trouble.
Okay, Mike's here.
Whoop.
We got a problem back here.
Loading the BMW.
Come back up on Tuesday and hopefully take you and Dennis out for lunch. That gets pushier as the day goes on, huh? Side says we're going down the freeway and just gawked. Wow.
Hey Dad,
Hey, what?
I think I knew something. I thought maybe we could...
I think we could fit 4 on there if we had to.
Yeah, because all of them can move up.
All right. So it's Sunday morning, the day of the Scottsdale Grand Prix. And we're down here early with the other cycle cart builders setting up our cars.
Here 108 years ago, and it cracked and you took me over. So this is the original wood, and see it's curved.
Okay, so we have everything unloaded. There's the famous horse statue everybody talks about. There's the barricades. You can see the course running down and around the corner there. One nice addition this year is they have these walkways over the course. Now last year the race course turned right here and went down this street. Went down to the end, turned left, came back up. So that's been eliminated this year. The course is shorter. So we were able to get right up here next to the statue, unload our cars because the streets aren't blocked off right here. So, okay, it should be a nice day.
That was for the horse track races. That was the one stage. And then all the oil sits inside the axle.
What's that guy's name?
That's Gary.
Gary. I think that was the guy that was up there, wasn't it?
Hey, the cycle carts are a big hit. Lots of kids climbing in and out of them, taking pictures. It's been a lot of fun. A lot of guys interested in what cycle carts are and want to build, so it's been a good outing for us. Plus, I wanted to make mention of how nice Chris's copper car turned out. It really turned out nice. Kind of a steampunk thing going on. Nice. There's Steve's car. There's Stevie Joe's car. Lowell. So it's the end of the day. Second annual Scottsdale Grand Prix is done, and Mike and Nicole are taking the cars back to the shop. There's Dorinda and Kendall in our car. We had a good time. It's been a long day. We're all tired, but we had a great time.